sometimes even worse. I spoke to a consultant the other day in a municipality. We're currently doing research in terms of in local government. And the consultant, I was very critical because every year the Auditor General points out the over-reliance on consultants. And so I had first-hand opportunity to sit down with a consultant and to try and understand why is there such a reliance on consultants. And his take was very refreshing. He says it took them about 5 years to make sure that the municipalities' finances is in a stable state. The reasons being, he said, political instability at local government causes that people do not feel secure. And so they do skills transfer, but people leave. Local government is not considered a stable environment. And so financial reporting, all these financial governance matters require it requires competence. The CFO sometimes operates at the strategic level, and you almost need 2 CFOs in a municipality. So there's a lack of financial competence in municipalities, and quite frankly, some municipalities simply do not have the capability to ensure this. And so hence the over-reliance on consultants, because local government is not regarded as stable. It is highly politicized, and it doesn't work well for job security. Hence, it is not necessarily a career of choice for accountants. But there's a dire need within municipalities for people with the right skill set to be able to ensure that we've got prudent financial governance in municipalities.
And when it comes to the powers which have now been given to the Auditor General and, the continued reports we see when it comes to financial mismanagement and irregularities at municipal level, do you think that, these powers now given to her were actually warranted due to, the number of problems communities face in this country when it comes to accountability?
No, definitely. The late Kimi Makwetu, the previous Auditor General, said that there's a lack of ethical and accountable leadership at local sphere of government. Community protest is almost a daily occurrence. And so there's no doubt, that we're not getting our democracy dividend. Communities are fed up with how they are governed at the local sphere. And I know the focus is on the 2024 elections. Yeah. But I think, what we will see in the build-up to the 2026 local government elections is a rise in issue-based local political parties or local community-based formations, as communities are rightly fed up with what they perceive as local government's inability to firstly hear them, and secondly to involve them in terms of co-creation of sustainable solutions. That is what developmental local government is, in fact. Government and communities working in partnership to ensure the sustainable solutions. And so there's a social distance. I think when Praveen Gordhan was still Minister of Local Government, 2016 or so, he brought out the back to basics. Already there it talked about the social distance between communities and elected officials. And so how communities perceive elected officials and what they actually deliver, there's a big gap. Hence, we see the complete dissatisfaction with, in many municipalities, in the way communities are being governed.
Do you think that now we see the powers being given by the Auditor General, this will actually see our municipalities run better because now they have someone to answer to?
No, they have had somebody to answer to for the last couple of years. It's the fact that they haven't listened. They hear, but they're not listening. And so with the consequence, the Auditor General says that we are serious because that was the gap in the legislation. She keeps on pointing out what is wrong, and municipalities did not act. Hopefully, through research, we must be able to, through science and evidence, check whether the material irregularities have resulted in an increase in better governance of the finances, because the financial indicator is but one indicator of how the municipality is being governed. I'm of the view that we should also be auditing the human resource development. How are we developing people in municipalities? Because ultimately that knowledge resides in people and that skills transfer. And so hopefully this will increase. We'll be able to see, since being issued with this material irregularities powers, whether there has in fact been an increase in the ability of municipalities to govern their finances better. So it is early days, and the one indicator is to, well, like I said now, is to check whether the material irregularities issues, whether that was acted upon and whether that has led to increased financial governance.
All right, Dr. Cloete, thank you so much for your time this evening here on SABC News. That is Dr. Harlan Cloete. He is from the University of the Free State in the Public and Administration and Management Department. Also, they're a local government expert, just talking to us there about the powers which have now been bestowed upon the Auditor General and the amount of money she's been able to recoup because of irregularities in municipal offices.